in previous chapters the importance of placement, some recommendations that she gave, that we have to push the air from the diaphragm, not from your throat or your vocal cords, the rhythm and everything that we talked slightly, the rhythm, the stress, and the intonation. Now, finally, we move into the core of, of English, and that means vowels. So they are the most important foundation in the pronunciation of words, because there is no syllable without a vowel sound. Vowels control the number of syllables. Vowels shape the pronunciation. Vowels are the core of the syllables. And that's what we're talking about. Here, slightly, she says the vowels are where we get the length, the duration, the shape that you make with your lips, and the length. Again, the length. How long is it? The vowels are generally the ones who are stressed, not the consonants. The vowels are the ones that are stressed. And if you want to make the word, for example, mum, longer, it should be like this. We're going to stretch the length of the vowel sound. Mom, 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 when you scream. Which sound are you going to stretch out is the vowel sound. Not like this. Ma'am, ma'am, ma'am. That sounds awkward, strange. Whenever, for example, imagine a little child who cries out for his mom. Mom, don't leave me, mom. Imagine a 3-year-old boy, 4-year-old boy. And the sound that receives the stress is the vowel sound. They are the core of the syllables. So as you look in different resources, you will see some variations in the vowels and the diphthongs. We're going to talk about single vowel sounds and diphthong sounds. Yeah, but let me tell you, the vowel sounds are the core of the mechanics in English. So that's the title of this. Vowels. Vowels are the core. And in this section, we're going to move from the structural skeleton of rhythm and placement. We talked about rhythm when we talked yesterday with this. This is rhythm. Yeah, rhythm. And the intonation, falling intonation. Rhythm and intonation. And the placement. You have to remember that the placement of the sounds are at the bottom, not high. They are down. Because what happens when you push the sounds up at the level of your heart palate? They become nasal sounds. To pronounce more effectively, you have to push the vowel sounds bottom at the level where it starts your vocal cords. You have to push that. Because if you elevate the sounds in your pronunciation, then it starts to sound like this. They sound nasal. I'm doing this on purpose, and they start to sound nasal because I'm pushing my articulators up to the hard palate. If you push the sounds towards the hard palate, they become nasal. Yeah. In American English, vowels are where we get the length, the duration, the shape, if it's longer. The syllables are stressed only because of the vowels, not the consonants. The consonants are not stressed. If you want your English to sound fluid and natural, you must master the precise physical mechanics of these core vowel sounds. They are the core. Yeah. Now I continue. The core mechanics of American vowels. Unlikely languages with tense forward focus articulations that are other languages like French, for example, American English vowels require relaxed jaw. Remember, they require relaxed capitals. They require relaxed jaw. You're not going to say you're going to say ah. You're going to relax the jaw when you say ah, eh. You relax your jaw and you push it downwards. Yeah. Also, it will require that an open throat. An open throat. They will also require a deep placement. And again, we're talking about what we mentioned before, the placement. If you remember, Professor Rachel Smith said that we have to push the air from the diaphragm, and the diaphragm is below the lungs. So the placement is down. That's what you call a deep placement. Yep. What else can we say about this? We can say that vowels are split into three categories. Categories. Those categories are depending and based on how the tongue and the lips are moved. So that's how can I say? Based on how the tongue and the lips move. What do I mean with that? It's not the same when you say, for example, ah, like this sound. I'm going to write that. Like this sound. Why does it want to obey me? Yeah. When you say this sound versus the sound that is the schwa. The distinction is clear. When you say the sound is ah, you open your mouth widely. But when you say schwa, you say and you slightly open your mouth. You relax the muscle of your mouth. But here, you push your jaw down and you open your throat to release the air free. And you make a deep placement. That means that you push from the diaphragm. Yeah. And that's the important thing about this. Yeah. Split. So things that are important for the pronunciation of vowel sounds is a relaxed jaw. an open throat, a deep placement. Yeah. And all those three categories that we're going to mention in a moment, they're based on how we move our tongue and our lips. So this depends on the movement of your tongue and your lips. When you say, for example, oh, you round your lips. Oh, you round your lips. Oh. But when you say the other sound, E, you stretch your lips to the sides. When you say oh, you round your lips. When you say E, you stretch your lips to the sides in horizontal position. So the movement of your tongue and your lips, it's very notorious. Yeah. So that's the thing. Now, which are those three categories? Which are those three categories? The first one, the monotongues. I'm not sure it's with N or with G. I think it's this way. Yeah. If I'm wrong, you tell me. They are what we can say the pure vowels. The pure vowels. The monotongues. These four are examples of monotongues. The pure vowels without interference of anything. Yeah. And the position of these monotongues stays completely free, completely still from beginning to the end. I mean, there's no blockage. Yeah. There's nothing that interferes, nothing blocks them. When you say, the doctor says, sir, open your mouth, please. Imagine you go to the dentist and you say, you open your throat, you relax your jaw. It comes from a deep placement from the diaphragm. Your tongue moves downwards. Your lips are round and widely open. These monotongues are pure vowels because your lips and your mouth stays completely still from the beginning to the end. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Mouth. Your mouth stays completely still. Nothing blocks, nothing bothers, nothing. It's free. Yeah. Like in the word father, for example, if you say that word, father. See the word? This word? And the phonemic transcription would be like this. Father, father, father. If you just separate the vowels, a, 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 a. If you change with the da, daughter, daughter, father, father. Nothing blocks these vowel sounds. Nothing stops them when they are standing alone in isolation. That's one group. The other group that we're going to study are the diphthongs. We mentioned some diphthong sounds the day before yesterday. Yeah, and they are combinations of sounds. Diphthong sounds. Yeah, the mouth begins in one vowel position and smoothly glides, transitions, changes into another vowel sound. I say that again. The mouth begins with one vowel sound. How can I say this? Let me think about how can I explain that. The mouth begins in one vowel sound. Yeah. Yeah. And smoothly transitions, or you can say the other technical expression that instead of transition that you will listen in phonetic books, glides. That means transitions, moves, changes into another vowel sound. Into another vowel sound. But that all of that happens inside the same syllable. Same syllable, not other syllable. Yeah. Examples of that would be like I in the word. I don't know why this thing changes the colors without my permission. The word that I was trying to mention was I. As in the word like I. Another thing that I mentioned that I have to repeat is this, that the first vowel sound from these diphthong sounds is supposed to be pronounced with clarity, higher pitch. Yeah, and the other one that accompanies must be brief, shorter. Yeah, that means that when you're going to pronounce it, it's going to say I, oh, ow, now. Come on, boy, let's go now. Move your feet. I like it. I, ow. And many others. Yeah. So those are the diphthong sounds. So until now, we've seen diphthong sounds. We've seen monotongues. And the last group, the one that it's one of my favorite sounds because it has the rhotic R. No, the rhotic R. They are called the R colored sounds. The R colored vowels. Yes, vowels. Because we're talking about vowels. You're going to find lots of sounds. Lots of. Yeah. In this kind of vowels, they are heavily, how can I say, altered, yeah, influenced, if you want, by the transition of the intermediate color R, by the colored R. But which one is the color R? I always use this analogy when I explain that color R. Imagine an angry dog. Imagine this puppy. Yeah, by instinct, the animals produce that color R with a lot of emphasis when they say, "Rrr, rrr, rrr." What happens with their tongue? The tongue, the tip of the tongue moves forward. I mean backward, not forward. Yeah, in a position like this, the color R. Let's suppose this is the tongue. Yeah, tongue. No, it's not tongue like that. Yeah, and you have the human here. It's been a long time since the last time I make these kind of graphs. Yeah, this is the mouth. No, not so good. Yeah, and here is, yeah, I'm going to improve my drawing because it's been a long time since I make these kind of diagrams. Here you are, the teeth, and the tip of the tongue. This is the tip of the tongue. Moves backward. Yeah, that's what makes the sound colored R. Yeah, this moves backward. Yeah, that's the secret of the color R. Yeah, and that's exactly what dogs do when they are angry. They yeah, they pronounce that sound without intending. Yeah, there are many vowel sounds that are influenced by that R sound, but the most common are the schwa, for example. The symbol of color R is like a letter R upside down. Yeah, it looks like that. Like letter R is like this, right? It's upside down. That rhotic. Somebody also calls this the rhotic R. You will listen that the rhotic R. Yeah. In Spanish is different. Is according to the Real Academy of Spanish, la Real Academia de la Lengua Española, that Real Academy, the R sound, it's ridiculous because they say they say that we are supposed to say rápido. I don't like that pronunciation, but it's supposed to be pronounced like rápido. Ratón, zorro, but it sounds awful. I don't like it. No me gusta esa pronunciación, but it's supposed to be like that. But American English is rhotic R. It's a different one. In Spanish, the symbol that represents the R is this one. But in English is this one. But it's very curious that in many dictionaries, even they know that this is the symbol that represents the color R of English, still there you're going to find many dictionaries that are still using this symbol that is more likely to the R that we pronounce in Spanish. Yeah. And you're going to find sounds like schwa, for example. Schwa. That is going to be influenced by this in words like father, and here it is, father, mother, brother, sister, doctor, color, Other symbol that you're going to find is this one that looks like a small letter R. Yeah, doesn't look good. Like this. And other dictionaries, you're going to find something like looks like Lambert 3 and with this. Yeah. So those are the sounds that are rhotic. Others you're going to find like this. Yeah. Like first. But I've seen more this, like that sound of first. Even others just draw this symbol and they assume that this symbol that looks like number 3 has the erotic, and they say first or girl with this symbol, All those vowel sounds that are affected by an rhotic R are called the R-colored vowels. Yeah, like in after, So those are examples of color vowels, art color vowels. Yeah. Those 3 we're going to study now. We're going to study them little by little. And I have another playlist that we're going to use that is more colorful than the ones that teacher Rachel Smith uses. Yes, I was watching the circus. I didn't finish. What was the name? I think the channel was Sounds American. Yeah, here is. This is the channel. Let's listen the first vowel sound. That is this one.
La sensación más bonita en la vida que ver a alguien darse cuenta que Dios estaba con ellos todo el tiempo. Hemos visto personas.
Hello there. This is the Sounds American channel. In this video, we're going to talk about the American vowel sound ah, as in the word got. You can also hear this sound in words like top, want, box, or wash. We'll be using a special phonetic symbol, ah, for this sound. The vowel sound ah is pretty common around the world. However, it's sometimes distorted or confused with other vowels in American English. Next, we'll tell you how to make this sound properly and provide exercises for practice. Okay, to pronounce the ah.
Now pay attention, because even I would turn on and my camera would work, I couldn't show you inside my mouth. Yeah, I can. That would be strange. Imagine I approach my face to the camera and opening my mouth wide. It's impossible to demonstrate the movement of the articulators inside the mouth. Yeah, or it's uncomfortable because I cannot explain while I'm showing you my mouth inside. But here with these illustrations and these animations, you're going to see how are you supposed to place your lips, your teeth, and your tongue. So pay attention to the cartoons, to the illustrations.
Sound, you should focus on the correct position of your jaw and tongue. Open your mouth as wide as possible. Relax your lips and allow them to rest in a neutral position. Flatten your tongue and place it very low in your mouth.
Flatten your tongue and place it very low in your mouth. Flatten, aplana tu lengua. Flatten. Remember those expressions. Flatten. Round your lips. Redondea los labios. Flatten your tongue.
Your tongue should be in the center of your mouth. The tip of your tongue should be touching the back of your bottom front teeth. Remember, the ah is a very open sound, so your mouth should be open as wide as possible.
Another term that you're going to listen, it's open and closed. When they say it's an open sound, that means that you have to open your mouth. But when it says it's a closed sound, it means that your mouth, your lips are almost closed. For example, the sound of of letter M, in that your lips are shut. Yeah. So you have to pay attention to open sound, closed sound, relaxed sound, tense sound. Flatten, round lips, flatten your tongue, rise your tongue in the center, in the middle, in the back, at the front.
Let's try saying it. Ah, ah, ah. Now let's practice this sound in some words. You'll see a word on the screen and hear its pronunciation, like this. Aunt. You'll have a few seconds to pronounce the word, if you want to.
No, it says if you want to. I would recommend you have to, because you need the practice the exercise, not me. You're going to repeat, yeah, but don't turn on your microphones, because we're going to listen many voices at the same time, and that's going to interrupt the next word, and we're going to get confused. I recommend to just keep your microphones off, continue repeating, yeah, but repeat, yeah, repeat. On.
Let's begin. Block.
Block.
Bob.
Bob.
Bottle.
Bottle.
Box.
Box.
Calm.
Calm.
Chop.
Chop.
Clock. Cob. Cod. Cotton. Crop. Dock. Doll. Dot. Drop. Flock. Flop. Fond. Box. Got. Gotten. Honk. Hop. Hot. Job. John. Knob. knock, not. You're done. Congratulations. By the way, the ah sound is most often written as the letter O. More on the spelling. The letter O stands for the ah sound, as in the word got, in 87% of cases. The remaining 13% belong to the letter A, as in the word want. Sometimes this sound is written by a combination of the letters AL, as in the word calm.
Yeah. Check it. Many times I've listened to the students saying, I am not a student. It is not a table. It's not, it's not. I'm not a student. It's not a table. Not, no, not, ah.
Thanks for watching. Hope you find it useful. Stay tuned on our sound.
That was the first one. We're going to make comparisons. We're going to make verses between these most common vowel sounds. We're not going to listen or watch all of them because we're never finished. We would finish, but not in time as I plan to. The next sound is going to be this one. Now, this one looks like a diphthong, but it's not a diphthong sound. Yeah, looks like, but it's not a diphthong sound. It's still a monotongue. Yeah, don't
El
get.
fútbol no te cumple todos los pedidos, por eso hicimos esta promo futbolera desde 20%
I don't
off en
care
tus
about
locales
soccer.
favoritos.
Hello there. This is the Sounds American channel. In this video, we're going to talk about the American vowel sound A, as in the word cat. You can also hear this sound in words like at, half, man, or laugh. We'll be using a special phonetic symbol, A, for this sound. The A is
Who's not. I've noticed when I use this kind of interruptions and to know who was paying attention. Many times the students who are never paying attention don't come back. Even if they come back after 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And that's one way that I used to prevent that. They would say that it's annoying, and I admit it would be annoying. But that helps me. That helps me to know who was paying attention and who wasn't. I continue. So the sound was ah, as in cat.
don't have this sound. That's the reason why many people distort the A or replace it with other vowels. Let's learn how to pronounce this sound the right American way. Okay, to pronounce the ah sound, you should focus on the correct position of your tongue and jaw. Open your mouth as wide as possible. Slightly spread your lips and tense them. Tense your tongue, flatten it, and push it forward. Your tongue should be positioned very low in your mouth. The tip of your tongue should be touching the back of your bottom front teeth. Remember, the ah is a very open vowel sound, so your jaw should be very low and your tongue should be very flat. Now, let's try saying it. Ah, ah, ah. Now, let's practice this sound in some words. You'll see a word on the screen and hear its pronunciation. Like this, abstract. You'll have a few seconds to pronounce the word if you want to. Let's begin. Act. Add. Alps. Am. An. And. Angle. Ankle. Ant. Apple. As. Ash. Ask. Asks. At. Babble. Back. Backed. Backpack. Backs. Bad. Badge. Bag. Band. Bang. Bank. Bass. Bat. Batch. You're done. Congratulations. By the way, the ah is almost always written as the letter A. And more on the spelling. The letter A stands for the ah sound, as in the word cat, in 97% of cases. The remaining 3% are split between combination of letters AL, as in the word half, and AU, as in the word laugh. Thanks for watching. Hope you find it useful. Stay tuned on our Sounds American channel.
Yeah, that was the next vowel sound. Let's continue with the next that we're going to work on. Which one would be another important sound? Until now we have a and Well, they are mainly confused. I'm selecting the ones that are mainly confused. I'm going to mention also... why would I forget the most infamous schwa sound?
Hello there. This is the Sounds American channel. In this video, we're going to talk about the American vowel sound
You see, your classmate spent more time realizing that he wasn't in the classroom. That helps me to know who was paying attention.
As in the word ago. You can also hear this sound in words like above, person, parent, or action. Please note that we'll be using a special phonetic symbol for this sound. The sound is one of the two most frequently used vowel sounds in American English. In fact, 1 in every 5 words has the sound. If you want to pronounce it like an American, keep watching. Okay, to pronounce the sound, you should focus on relaxing your tongue and lips. Slightly open your mouth, relax your lips, and leave them in a neutral position. Place your tongue in the middle of your mouth and relax it. Remember, the sound is very relaxed, so your tongue and lips should be relaxed when you pronounce it. Let's try saying it. Uh. Now let's practice this sound in some words. You'll see a word on the screen and hear its pronunciation, like this. Ability. You'll have a few seconds to pronounce the word if you want to. Let's begin. Above. Abrupt. Absence. Absent. Abyss. Academic. Accident. Accurate. Accusal. Achieve. Across. Action. Actual. Adapt. Addition. Address. Adequate. Adjust. Administration. Adopt. Adult. Advance. Effect. Afraid. Africa. Again. Against. Agency. You're done. Congratulations. By the way, did you know that the sound is written as the letter A in 1/3 of all cases? More on the spelling. Most often, the sound is written as the letter A, as in the word above, then by the letter O, as in the word today, and the letter E, as in the word even. Less often, it's represented by a combination of the letters IO, as in the word nation, the letter I, as in the word pencil, and the letter U, as in the word product. Thanks for watching. Hope you find it useful. Stay tuned on our Sounds American.
So that was the third sound that was part of our study. I hope that you were paying attention and practicing, because after those videos, we're going to start our exercises based on that. I'm going to show you pairs of sound words. I have to recognize which sounds are they. The next sounds that we're going to analyze are which ones would it be? Which ones are also important and mainly confused? Yeah. Where's the sound? This one.
Hello there. This is the Sounds American channel. In this video, we're going to talk about the American vowel sound I, as in the word it. You can also hear this sound in words like big, gym, English, or image. Please note that we'll be using a special phonetic symbol E for this sound. The I is one of the two most frequent vowel sounds in American English, but it exists in less than 20% of the world's languages. So many people may distort it or replace it with the E sound, as in the word be. Let's find out how to make this sound. Okay, to pronounce the I sound, you should focus on the correct position of your tongue. Slightly open your mouth, spread your lips, and relax them. Raise your tongue high in your mouth and push it to the front. The tip of your tongue can be lowered just behind your bottom front teeth. Remember, the I is a relaxed sound, so your tongue and lips should be relaxed. And your tongue should be at the front of your mouth. Now, let's try saying it. I, I, I. Now let's practice this sound in some words. You'll see a word on the screen and hear its pronunciation, like this. Big. You'll have a few seconds to pronounce the word if you want to. Let's begin. Bit. Chin. Chip. Click. Clip. Drink. Drip. Film. Fish. Fit. Fix. Hid. Him. Hint. Hit. Kick. Kid. King. Kiss. Let's pause for a moment and review the key points. Your tongue should be relaxed. Raise high in your mouth and push to the front. Let's continue practicing. Begin. Biscuit. Business. Dismiss. district, finish, image, inches, limit, liquid, picnic, primitive, princess, sickness, spinach, ticket, visit, windmill, within, women. You're done. Congratulations.
Yeah. And finally, the one that I don't think it's going to be difficult for you because it sounds like E in Spanish.
Hello there. This is the Sounds American channel. In this video, we're going to talk about the American vowel sound E, as in the word bee. You can also hear this sound in words like each, see, key, or ski. Please note that we'll be using a special phonetic symbol E for this sound. The E is the third most frequently used vowel sound in American English, so pronouncing it correctly is important for your American accent. Let's find out how to make this sound. Okay, to make the E sound, you should focus on the correct position of your lips, tongue, and jaw. Open your mouth a little, stretch your lips as wide as you can, and make them tense. Raise your tongue very high and push it to the front of your mouth. The tip of your tongue should be lowered just behind your bottom front teeth. Remember, the E is a tense sound, so your lips and tongue should be tense. Your tongue should be at the front of your mouth. Let's try saying it. E, E, E. Now let's practice this sound in some words. You'll see a word on the screen and hear its pronunciation, like this. Bead. You'll have a few seconds to pronounce the word if you want to. Let's begin. Beam, bean, beat, cheap, cheese, clean, cream, each, eve, feel, feet, flee, free, meal, meat, peak, people, peace, please, let's pause for a second and check how you're pronouncing the E sound.
Yeah, but until there, I think it's enough because I don't think this would be confusing. This sound, it's easy to recognize when you say E. In fact, when you say E, it's like you were making a smile. Yep. Now let's continue with the next thing to do. What was this? Here we have some words to work on. And there you are, the words that we're going to check on. What exactly are we supposed to do with them? Well, we're going to practice with them doing minimal pairs. Yeah, minimal pairs observation. The first pair, for example, we're going to see. Let me think. Yeah, I need the phonemes for the reason I copied here. I need this one. The first one is like this, the symbol, the phonemic symbol. Yeah. And the second one will be like this. Cat, cut. Yeah, that's the first group. Cat, cut. Cat, cut. The next group is since. Yeah. I need this other symbol. This other phoneme. The next can start from here. It's going to be this and its counterpart is going to be E. Yeah. E. E. Sit, seat, sit, seat. The next group will have yeah, between this pair. I need this sound again. Ah. That's in the word cat. Ah. And the sound that is the schwa. Cat, cut. Cat, cut. That's the next group. The last group is going to be like this one. It's like this. Like this sound. That phonemic sound. And yeah, it's bag. This sound. I'm going to need this sound. Yeah, now I have everything that I need. Until there. They are minimal pairs. The first group from 1 to 8, they have these sounds like a, 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 a. Like tap, top, tap, top, cap, cop. You're going to pronounce them well. There mustn't be mistakes in your pronunciation. We're not making yet phonemic transcription. We're not making transcription. No estamos haciendo transcripciones todavía. But we have to get accustomed to recognize these sounds, these vowel sounds. We have to recognize them. Yep. Then the next group is going to be from 9 until 18. I. Sit, seat, bit, beat, slip, sleep. And like that, you're going to practice. You're going to do this orally. Yeah. This moment you're going to practice. The next is a and cat, cut, hat, hut. And the last group that is very short, and a, big, bag. Yeah. And that way you have to practice all of these sounds. I'm going to share that with you in the WhatsApp group, and you're going to practice until it sounds perfect. Yeah, it must sound good enough. Check the WhatsApp group. There you are. Yeah. How are we going to make the exercise faster? How can I say? Short videos. You're going to grab your phone as you were a TikToker. I do that with my students, yeah, and I'm sure that you can do it. You can do it. Yep, do it. Short videos, shorts in the WhatsApp group, shorts. You're reading them. Try to find the rhythm. Yeah, cat, caught, hat, hot, sag, sock, map, mop, like that. You're going to practice constantly again and again and again. You have 7 minutes to do that. It's 8:13. You have until 8:20. Yeah, until 8:20 you have.
Okay. Teacher, is it possible for it to be an audios?
No, videos. Why videos? Because we're going to observe how you move your lips. If you remember why I'm saying videos, not because I want to bother on your privacy. It's because we need to watch it from the images. In these images, you have illustrations, yeah? People moving their mouths. We have to compare if you're moving the lips. This is what we're going to observe. After 8:20, we have to observe that the lips, if you're rounding them, if you're relaxing your jaw, that's exactly what I'm going to check. Yeah, I'm going to check your mouth position, your placement. For that reason, I say, do you get it?
Yes, teacher.
Yeah, that's the reason.
Teacher, can you explain again what we have to do?
Again. Okay. Who's that?
Me, teacher, my internet connection is low.
Yeah, I sent in the WhatsApp group these words, boy. You have to practice with the phonemes that we listen and make a short video. Yeah, short video, like you were TikTok or something like that. With a WhatsApp video. Don't use another camera. Here you have, in this, you have a camera, right? Here you have a camera. Use that camera, because if you use another camera, like the camera that you have in your device, it's going to be high resolution. It's going to be difficult for you to share in the WhatsApp group. For that reason, you better use the camera that you have here and not from the camera from their device. Yeah, because here the camera is more fluent, faster. But if you use another camera, it's going to become slow when you're going to upload it. Why I'm asking you videos? Because I want to observe how you move your lips, the lips. We watch videos to know that. Yeah, videos like this to observe how you move your. Yeah, that's it. Keep working. Practice. I don't asking you do it now. You can practice as many times as possible, again and again and again. And the final is after 8:20, we're going to have a break. Yeah, from 8:20 to 8:40, 20 minutes. Yeah, and after the break, we're going to analyze and we're going to watch your videos and observe if you make that movement of your jaws, your jaws. Yeah. So do it.
Teacher, can you show us the last picture that you wrote the different sounds of the vowels? Because I didn't write on them.
Okay. You could have taken screenshots, man, but
Yes, man.
there
Give
you
me
are.
some minutes. Yes. Can you move to the last one? Because I am interested in that. Yes, the other, please. Thank you. Thank you, teacher.
Yeah. it's commonly named as minimal pairs, but I would prefer to call them contrastive minimal pairs. But what's the purpose of minimal pairs? In the future, it would be very productive if you would use minimal pairs to help your students build muscle memory. Yeah, so that's what I meant, to build accurate muscle memory. Yeah, that is. Because if you notice, when you practice the word saying like miss and mass, there was obviously a practice when you were shifting your jaw, your tongue placement rapidly between these closely related sounds that you produced. Yeah. So that practice that you made as you were shifting, changing the position of your jaw and your tongue placement that I mentioned before, makes you aware of the distinction of them. For that reason, it's contrastive, because with this kind of exercises, you can rapidly see the distinction between this pair of sounds. The exercise would look very simple, but to tell you the truth, it's very productive. Very, very productive, this kind of exercises of minimal pairs. Yeah, what did I write? To build accurate muscle memory, practice shifting your jaw and tongue placement rapidly between closely related sounds. Yeah, closely related sounds. Yeah, that's an acceptable concept. The purpose of constructive minimal pairs is to build an accurate muscle memory, practice shifting your jaw and tongue placement rapidly between closely related sounds. That's with the only purpose of making the distinction clearly. To make the distinction clearly. Yeah. You can shift from one lax sound to an open sound. For example, in this case, it was a lax sound, big. It's a lax sound. What does it mean, lax? That the sound, in theory, is supposed to be relaxed. Yeah, this is a lax, or also you can call relaxed sound, while the other is an open, tense sound. And as you were repeating the words, as you were saying them, you say big bag, big bag. You could have felt the relaxation of the muscles when you say big, sing, miss, and ding. And then when you were shifting to bang, sang, mass, and dog. Yeah, and that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Now, I'm going to tell you that we have to notice that difference. We have to be aware of that. How are we going to do that? You send your videos, and I was checking them. Yeah, I was checking your work. I couldn't finish because I was watching, and then I got distracted, and it was time to continue. What I want you to do is to observe. You have your classmate job. I want you to observe from the movement of your lips between, for example, this pair of sounds. When you pronounce this sound your mouth, your lips are relaxed. See, but when you say your mouth is open. Yeah. Eh, I'm pretending that this is the movement of your lips, and I want you to notice that movement of the lips. I want you to be aware of that movement. Yeah. So Alison, I want you to observe Maribel's video. Observe and analyze the movement of the lips. If she could actively and precisely make that minimal contrast effectively. And so you're going to observe Alison from Maribel. Maribel, you're going to observe from Paola. Paola, you're going to observe from David. David, you're going to observe from Rodrigo. Rodrigo, you're going to observe from John. John is going to observe the video of Rocio. And Rocio is going to observe Mateo's video. Mateo is going to observe Octavio. Yeah. And Octavio is going to observe the first one that was Alison. Yeah. And I want you to notice the movement of the lips of your classmate, if they were actively moving the lips or not. I want you to, by yourself, be aware if you're actually making that muscle memory. Yeah. If you're moving your lips. So that's not going to take that much time. Maximum that observation is going to take 3 minutes. So start, please. Have those 3 minutes to observe. Observe the video of your classmates and check their muscle memory and that shifting change from the placement of the lips, the tongue, and everything. Go and check it. Watch your classmates' video. Yeah, time's up. Now I suppose that you have finished, right? Or not yet? They're still working on that.
Teacher, in my case, I finished.
Now tell me your observations. Was your classmate able to make that distinction clearly as you're looking at her lips movement? From 1 to 10, you have to say, I'm being sincere. And what would you recommend if you were the teacher? What would you recommend to help her? Who did you observe, first of all? Whose video did you observe? What are your recommendations? Try to use a specific technical words that we mentioned, like the openness of the lips, the relaxation of the muscles, the tongue placement, if you were able to see the tongue, the pitches, that clear shifting between sounds, everything that you remember that we mentioned in this lately 3 days or 4 days of classes. Go on, please.
Okay. First, I checked Maribel's video, and first of all, I want to make a whole observation before giving her points if I were her teacher. First of all, she pronounces the word so good, and in most of the times she tries to make the difference between different vowel sounds, and she clearly pronunciates louder, higher, and longer the words that are stressed. And talking about the vowel sounds. In the first, these were divided into four levels, I could say, four parts of words that are divided into different vowel sounds. In the first one, I noticed that she doesn't open her mouth so much to pronunciate but she still pronounces it good, even though that she doesn't open her mouth so much. But sometimes, as she doesn't open, it is not this. I can notice that in those cases, it doesn't sound like like we were practicing. And in the next two ones, they were all okay. I noticed how she tense her muscles in order to make and E. And it was different. I noticed it was perfect from as I looked. And in the last part, talking about, for example, words such as dick, dog, she forgot to open her mouth so much, and the pronunciation weren't so clear in order to make the distinction. But I noticed so good pronunciation, so I will give her 8 of 10.
Great observation, yeah. Could you listen her observations and comment about your job, Maribel?
Yes, teacher.
Yeah. Do you agree with her, or do you have something to explain about your output, your production of your sounds?
I agree with her because sometimes I didn't realize that I have to open my mouth, like when we have the vowel like right? And in those cases, I forget a little bit that I have to open my mouth. In that case, I agree with Alison. And the others vowel sounds, I try to like emphasize and try to do it be very clear.
Yeah, you mean emphasize. Yeah, that's
Emphasize,
great.
yes.
That's great, Maribel. Yeah, well done. And I like the way you observe and you were clear with your explanation and your observations, Alison. Well done. I think it's your turn, right, Maribel?
Okay. I just watched the video of Paola. I think it for me it was good to I could see the difference between the vowel sounds. Something that it called my attention is that we have relaxed and tense vowels, right? In some of the her pronunciation, they I think were more tense than relaxed sounds, right? We, for example, we have like the E that we have in Spanish, that is the vowel that should be tense, right? And the other E, it's relaxed. It's a relaxed sound, but in her video, for me, it was like kind of tense. I could observe that. And in the same as in my video, I think she didn't open her mouth like in the vowels that we have at the beginning, like the cat, right? In that part, she didn't open her mouth. What else? I observed that.
Thank you. Yeah. It was clear, understandable. Yeah. How do you take that observations, Paola?
Well, teacher, I understand the observations and I accept them because it sometimes it's a little bit difficult for me to remember how I have to open properly my mouth, because in Spanish I'm not a person who talks loudly, and in English it's some kind of difficult trying to move more my lips. And I also didn't practice English too much time, but I accept the observations and I'll do a better job.
Okay, yeah. If you want to observe something about the command, you can explain, yeah. But if you're satisfied with her interpretation of your output, that's great, Paul, yeah. That's great. Never take it personal. If you have, for example, have some observation about my pronunciation, just be free to tell me, yeah. Nobody's perfect. Once I have a problem with one teacher, yeah, he was from another institution. He used to say, I've been teaching 12 years, so you can't tell me what to do and what not to do, because he used to all the times be aggressive with the students. It's not in El Alto City, and I'm not going to tell his name. And he used to be very aggressive, and I said, you can't treat the students like that. And he said, no, I know my methodology. Please don't interfere in my classes, teacher, he used to tell me. I've been teaching 12 years, so I have the experience and I know what I'm talking about. He said something like that. But I told him, yeah, I understand that you have a lot of experience, but I've been teaching almost 14 years more than you, and still I commit mistakes. Nobody is perfect. And you cannot be disrespectful with the students. I talked to him. Yeah, and I was right, because the students complained in the office. Just I wanted to prevent him to get into trouble, but he didn't take my observations. The students talked to me, and I approached to that teacher and I talked to him face to face, person to person, trying to give him my recommendations to prevent problems, but he didn't listen to me, and at the end all the students complained and they went to the office. And you know what happens, yeah? When many students complained, and in the office they consider the students' complaint. I'm not using that kind of rivalry among us. Just I'm pursuing positive critical thinking. Yeah, with critical thinking we can work on basis of that. We can improve together. Next one, Paola.
Well, teacher, I watched the video of David, and most of the words were understandable, and I think he did a good job, but he needs to emphasize more in the sound as we saw in the video, because he didn't open his mouth to emphasize that sound. And in the second, since 9 to 18, he need to relax more the to emphasize the sound. The second, since 19 to 26, also the first sound needs to be emphasized. And the last one, it was okay for me, but the same sound, he needs to relax more to make the sound of and he needs to open more his mouth to make the sound of those are my observations, teacher.
So you meant this phonemic symbol, this one, right?
Yes, teacher.
Yeah. So that sound is open and tense. Yeah. Yeah. That's the observation. Let's see. What do you have to say, David, about her observations? Did you understand what was her observations?
Yes, teachers. Thank you for that observation for me. So, I think I had some problem to identify some plosive, some vowels. I think that is the reason I couldn't open my mind. I trying to recognize, right, the phonetic.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, we have to be aware of our mistakes. That's the only thing to improve. That's fine. David, you continue.
Well, teacher, okay. Rodrigo has a good distinguishing the word correctly, just in, couldn't remember the words. Yes, the 26, the word on. I think Rodrigo exaggerated, but it's okay. I couldn't understand until now it's a and, no? The schwa, and I think it's, you must to put the word and. I think that teacher, and the other one is and. Just that teacher, I couldn't say more because he has a good pronunciation, Rodrigo.
Yeah, so your only observation was that he has a little difficulty on the production of schwa. Is that what you said?
Because
Okay.
yes, because that's a phonetic is a relaxed, right? So he make maybe stress on relaxed word.
I get. So you mean that he has to relax more the muscles when pronounce this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you take that those recommendations, Rodrigo?
Okay,
Could you
thank
notice
you.
that?
Thank you very much, David, for your evaluation. I'm so happy that you attend all my diction and all my pronunciation of these words. So you were right because you said that I have problems with the pronunciation so the sound schwa. Yes, because this is the first time I listen about it. Never in my life I imagined that that songs exist. So in this moment I am trying to do it, but I'm confusing because I use this like an sound of I would say that I felt a kind of strange. For that reason, um, I got that much nervous, and for that reason, I couldn't get it relaxed. For that reason, it sounds very strange or maybe forced because I don't say I say this is not the sound that I want to make anymore. I have to practice more, and I suppose in the future I will improve that. Thank you very much, David.
Yeah. Great. So the only thing to do that is you have material. It's not like the times when I studied. When I studied English for the first time in my life, I was in high school. It was 2006. And in those times there was YouTube, but there wasn't video tutorials. There were videos, but more of the videos were video clips, music. So there weren't many teachers teaching English. So the only resource that we had was the teachers. Most of the teachers in the past were military personnel who traveled to the United States. Most of them, they are retired. They don't work at the AFAF anymore. Yeah. You can see some of the pictures. There were some pictures of the former principals of the AFAF. They were the teachers. Yeah, most of them were the teachers, but now they're retired. And yes, but now in this modern times we have apps, we have programs, we have resources. Yeah, we can solve that. That's great. Now your turn, Rodrigo.
Okay, John, your video was great. It was an incredible presentation, and you proved that you have an excellent pronunciation of these words, but you confused the sound of them. Maybe not intentionally. Oh, my listening is so poor, but I found that you repeat the sound in some words. Okay, by the time the words I've been talking is the case of number 9, you repeat set twice. And for a reason, I suppose that you repeat it. If you want to pronounce the sounds of E, you have to open your mouth. I know this is very difficult after to say eh, eh, to pronounce the other E, and a kind of longer and louder. The change of that is very difficult, but I beg you, take your time, relax, and continue with the other. It's not necessary to make this fast, same moment. No, you can say the first set, take your moment, relax, and try to open your mouth. Sit. Even you can do it if you increase the force of your voice. Set, sit, set, sit. The other word you repeat is beat. Instead of say bet, beat, pet, beat, you repeat beat twice. So for me, it was very difficult to notice that, but I get it. I got it. So again, the opposite case. If in the first I said to you that you have to open your mouth, now for produce this sound like that, eh, eh, you have to you don't have to open your mouth. Don't force yourself to open all your mouth for it. You have to only maintain this tensed. Try to do it and you will get it. eh, eh. Similar case with green and kren. Other in the last opportunity, I don't know why, but in the case of the number 25, I listen staff and stoof. I don't know why. Maybe my listening is so poor, or I didn't listen it carefully, but I listen no stuff. I listen like ooh, stoof, literally stoof. So if maybe you can correct me, go ahead. But it's the only points, negative points I can mention after checking your video. But apart of all of this, it was an excellent job.
Yeah. So tell us your opinion about those commands, please.
Okay. I thank you for your recommendation and your observation to watch my video with attention. I think that the nervous cause that I confuse some words and make the sound of some words similarly. I think it's the nervousness. I not very calm. I try to speak correctly and fastly, but I think that I need to be calm and read suddenly sometimes.
Okay, John. Now your turn.
Okay, I watched the video of Rocio, and I consider that she make a great job. I I heard the sound uh, but I have one observation that in some words and the final words, the I heard that the same sound in some words. Not I not I didn't notice the difference, but I consider that it's a little bit perfect. But in some words, she repeat the same words.
Okay. What's your opinion about that, Miss?
I agree. Thank you. Yes, I also noticed when I watch my video again. Maybe it's a kind of difficult for me to try to don't try to make to try to produce a different sound. Maybe because I was trying to do it perfect. At the end, I couldn't maintain and shape very well my lips. But thank you.
Okay. Now your turn, Rocio.
Okay, I watched the video of Mateo, mm, and I like how he pronounced, especially those explosive sounds, even if the vocals or the vowels sounds, I couldn't notice very well how did he pronounce and the difference between the words. But maybe I couldn't notice the shaping of the lips, because however, I can say that maybe it is because he has braces. I'm not sure. Probably those braces make difficult for him to pronounce very well. So he needs to move his facial muscles a lot more, and I think maybe he could try to exaggerate his mouth shapes, because in some words, for example, cat and cat, map, his lips close and push forward too much, and on both words. So I couldn't check, or I couldn't notice very well the difference. Probably, especially when I saw how did he pronounce, how she pronounced. I'm sorry, how he pronounced. And maybe just that observation, especially with those sound that needs some horizontally shape. And I couldn't see that on the lips.
Okay. Thank you, Rocio. Now your turn, Mateo.
Okay, yes, sorry. Yes, thanks, Lucio. I also, yes, I have prices, and it's a little bit difficult, but I can't. Okay. So I analyzed the video of Octavio, and it's okay. It's okay. I just see the lips. It's are common mistakes, so it's nothing from other words.
thank you very much for your suggestions and observation. I'm aware that my performance is not perfect, but I truly appreciate your honesty and that I will practice more. And I know that the pronunciation or the speaking is not is a process. It's a process. So I will I will take care about your observations and I will improve.
Okay. Yeah. Now, whom did you observe? Whom did you observe, Octavio?
I watched the video of whose name was?
The first means, yeah,
The
Alice.
first with Alison.
Yeah.
Something that I want to remark about. She was the first person to send her video. So, in my opinion, I think that she demonstrated an excellent articulation and vocalization throughout the class, the video. And it's evident that she practiced a lot and watched all the practice videos and she take attention to the class. So she maintained an appropriate mouth and lip positioning, adjusting her jaw and tongue placement accurately from each sound. So, in my opinion, I think that she's she. How can I say that? She do a great job, but although she made a few minor mistakes, she corrected herself quickly. So, in my opinion, it was a great presentation or a great video.
Okay, no weaknesses at all, you mean?
Yes, teacher.
Yep. Great. How do you take those words, Alison?
I appreciate too much his observations. I don't know if I did it good a video because he said that I committed minor mistakes, and probably I did because I have to say that the last part of the video I forgot to say the pronunciation of the words, and I just read them as I read, and I don't know if I did it good in the part, but probably he refers to that part and I recognize it.
Yeah. Thank you. Yep. You see that kind of observations, it's time consuming. Yeah, if you notice that. Takes time, but necessary. I would have said my observations, and probably I have a limited view of the landscape and of your phonemic output. So the way that you're able to discriminate, to contrast, to observate, to measure, and especially to describe the placement of your speech organs like the tongue and the lips is essential. Yeah, it's great. It's great. That means that you're aware. And we as teachers, we have to be aware of the students' production of sounds. We have to be aware. We have to be ready to say, well, you're making this nasal. You're making this more fricative. You're making the sound more plosive. You need to make this sound more relaxed. And you have to teach them how to do it. Yeah. That is. Let's continue with the last part of this lesson. Yeah, the lesson is from the book, obviously. Yeah, from our book. Here's our book. And we're talking about this chapter. We watched specifically the vowel sounds that she mentioned, like this. We also watched the sound like ah. And if you look at your book, in your book you have that illustration. Ah, ah, ah. And this one also you have the picture, and she is showing you that for this sound, this uh, is not that open, and she's showing you to a picture of her front lips. Contrary to this other one, that you open more your mouth. Ah, ah. If you compare this picture with the previous one, it's obvious the difference. Openness, la apertura, the openness of her lips comparing to the following picture. Yeah. And then it goes to the next sound. Yeah. And it's making a contrast between these two. Look at the openness from versus ah. Ah, ah, and she continues with the following with more pictures. Yeah, like oh. And then you'll have the opportunity to watch this. We didn't watch all the vowel sounds because we have finished all those videos of that playlist. If you watch my screen, probably you remember which channel was. It was Sounds American channel. Yeah, I'm going to write here again. Sounds American channel. Sounds American. It's the image, it's like a microphone. And the playlist shows us about, where's the playlist? But the playlist is about 49 videos from all the phonemic alphabet. Yeah. Obviously she has their own, but I prefer this ones when I think about phonemes. Yeah. I prefer this playlist. If you find somewhere else some other material that would be very useful, use it. The important thing is that it's useful and it works on you. Yeah, I cannot say that you can have to follow and consume the content of teacher Rachel Smith or only Sounds Americans, because maybe they don't accommodate to your expectations and your needs. So you have to look the material that feels your needs, that meets your needs. Now, the next thing that I was mentioning was this, the rhythmic integration. We set words in isolation. That means that we pronounce pair of words separated, like cat, cot, hat, hot, sack, sock, and like that, isolated. But the truth is that American English are not made by statements of isolated words. What do I mean? That we don't say something like the vowel is heavily altered by the colored R. No, we don't isolate the words. Yeah. Rather than that, we link the words. The vowel is heavily altered by the color R. We link them. Yeah. That creates the rhythm. So understanding that, it's going to be essential for us. This thing stopped working. Yeah, now it's working. It moved. Now we are going to continue from this part, applying vowel length. So I wrote some specific word, the elasticity of American vowels. I like to use analogies. The analogy that I'm going to use will be a rubber band. Yeah. Think of rubber bands. Yesterday I compare Spanish syllables to bricks, if you remember. Do you remember still my analogy? I compared the syllables of Spanish to bricks. Yeah. They are steady, similar, same length, but English is not. The length of American vowels is elastic. Consider them like rubber bands. What do I mean? That stressed syllables are longer, yeah, in length. Their duration is longer, and unstressed syllables, vowels, are shorter. So it's like a rubber band. Yeah. That's what I meant. An example. Example. Let me think about a word that shows us example. Yeah, I have this in mind. My word's going to be the word legal. Yeah, I'm going to use that word. So that's the word. How many syllables does the word legal has? How many words does the word legal have? Yeah, 2. Which one is the stress syllable?
First. The first.
Yeah, the first one. Yeah, legal. So the first syllable is stressed. That means that the vowel of li is stretched like a rubber band. You can stretch a rubber band. Yeah, stretch. I suppose that you get that. AI. I don't need AI. Yeah, it's stretched. Yeah, you can stretch that syllable of the stressed. Yeah, and it also the vowel is stressed. It's high in pitch, and it's e. Yeah, that first syllable of legal is e. Let's break it down into this. The phonemic transcription would be like this. Schwa again. So schwa is inevitable. This one will be stretched. The vowel will be longer, like a rubber band. You can stretch it. It's going to be high in pitch. High in pitch. It's going to be a pure E sound. Pure E. While the second syllable will be unstressed. Yeah. The vowel, in other words, fades away, dies, it's weakened. It reduces to a tiny, fast schwa. The schwa is tiny, it's fast, it's short, it's brief, it's relaxed. It's just that. Yeah. Legal. That's what I mean when I talk about the elasticity of American vowel sounds. They can be stretched like this one, E, or they can be compressed like the schwa. E, 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 and then you can notice the elasticity of these vowel sounds. You have a second word that I can use to continue with this observation is, I will use, what's that? Derivational word. The derivational word of legal would be legality. Yeah, that word would be legality. How many syllables does this word have? 1, 2, 3, and 4. Legality. Where the stress syllable is the second. Yeah. Gal. Legality. Legality. Yeah. The stress syllable will be gal. Gal. How is going to be that? That sounds going to be like, I'm going to make the transcription better. With that, we're going to get this right. Le. Gal. A. Legal. Legala. Legality. This way. So maybe you noticed something that you didn't mention. Teacher Rachel uses this kind of parentheses, but I prefer to use these ones because I find these ones more in dictionaries. But it's correct, this one, because when you make analysis or phonemic transcription with allophones, you use this kind of symbols rather than this. When you make the phonological way, you use this. When you make the phonetical way, you use this. Yeah. But I got accustomed to use the slash marks. Me acostumbré a usar diagonales, slash marks. Yeah, for that reason, you can use these parentheses. It's fine if you want. And there you are. This is going to be higher in pitch if we remember. Yeah. Legality. And it's going to sound like this. Legality. This sound, ah. This weak sound, legality. Yeah. So that's very curious. Imagine we just made one observation of one word and one of its derivational words. Now imagine how much it could change with the great big and long list of derivational words that comes from one word. For example, one word that would be very derivational is the word photograph. Photographer, photographic, photographical, photographically, and many others. Yeah, imagine how deep it can go, the analysis of the shifting of the stress syllable. It moved from the first to the second, if you observe here, from the first to the second. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, let's see that. You're gonna do it with the word photograph. Yeah, that's the one that I mentioned. Photograph. And the word photographer. Photographer. Yeah. Let's do this. How would it be? Where's the stress in the first word? Where's the stress in the first word?
And the first word is in the syllable graph, is the last one. Photograph. Photograph.
Syllable, I guess.
Sure. To know that, you have to say, let's play. First, you separate into syllables. Yeah. It has how many? In pronunciation, in fact, I would listen that they would make this way. Yeah, they would say in this way. Let's use and say as they would say. So the first word has 1, 2, 3, and the second 1, 2, 3, 4. You have to try, yeah. The first one, as your classmate teacher Rodrigo said. I'm going to place here. Here. Let's see. For graph. It will sound photograph. Is that the way we listen?
No, teacher.
No, maybe in
No,
the first
Let's try the
first
second
one.
Photograph. Photograph. And if it would be a stress, photograph. Photograph. Because when you stress, you listen. Yeah. Photograph. No, it's not the second. So as you said, it's the first one. Photograph. 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 So it's going to sound like this. In the second word, did it maintain the same position of the stress syllable in the first?
No. The second one gets
No.
the stressed word, syllable.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see that. Photographer. Yes, you're right. That sounds it sounds more natural, like photographer. Photograph, photographer. Photograph, photographer. If we would use a phonemic transcription, it would sound like this. The first one. I remember the primary stress, and I use a diphthong sound, a diphthong vowel sound, the schwa, a flap T. Yeah, I need to make here. Yeah, it sounds better like this. Let me listen. Photograph. Photograph. Yeah, it's okay. If you look at this, it's letter T. I tongue twisted. It looks like a small V. Yeah, that's a symbol. Yeah, this represents the sound when you say, for example, you don't say water, you say water. So that sound is this one. Yeah, that's the flap T. Photograph. But the second one didn't sound like that. It sounded like fa. Now here's the big change. Look at this change. It was faux and it was fa. Faux, fa. This is what I call the elasticity of American vowel sounds. When you say faux, it sounds longer, higher. But when you say fa, it sounds shorter and weaker. Yeah, because the stress syllable moved. And the second is not going to be schwa anymore. it's going to become the ah. Photog, photogra, photogra, and I will use the American one. This one is the Spanish. This one is the American. I'm going to use the American one. Photogra and shua. Photographer. Photographer. Yeah. Let me listen if that sounds good. Photographer. Photographer. Yes, it sounds good. Photographer. 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 But this one is photograph. And if we go back to observation, this is longer and this one is shorter. This was short and now this is long. This is short too. Short. Photographer. Photographer. Photograph. Photographer, photograph. Yeah, that's what I meant with this, the elasticity of this. The syllables, I mean the vowel sounds would get stretched out like a rubber band. They can be stretched, they could be longer. You can pull to that vowel sound. Yeah. You can stretch it. Yeah, that is. Let's do some exercises. Yeah. With sentences to make this going beyond. We're going to use what teacher Rachel uses a lot, the da-da-da. She likes to do that. If you remember, she's all the time says da-da-da, da-da-da. Yesterday night, we were watching that in her last video, and she was doing that kind of exercise. We're going to do with some sentences. It's a process, for example. Step less, yeah. It's a process. That's going to be my example. Instead of, because if you make phonetic transcription, it's going to take longer. Instead of that, we're going to say the syllables. How many syllables do you find in this sentence, in this short sentence? How many syllables are there?
Four.
Somebody?
Four.
Yeah. One. This is 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. If we accommodate that to the da-da-da that it's very common from teacher Rachel. Another thing, which one is the stress syllable there? I was forgetting. Which one is the stress syllable?
No. Third.
The first, the second, the third, or the fourth? The first, the second, the third, or the fourth?
The third.
The third one?
The first one.
Yeah. Great one. So it's going to be like this. It's a process. It's a process. Yeah, if you use that, you can say the yeah. This da-da-das works instead of this phonemic transcription. Yeah, this is more technical, the phonemic transcription, but this is more practical. Da-da, it's d, it's da, d, da, 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 da. It's a process. Da, 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 da. It's a process. Da, 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 da. It's a process. Da, 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 da. Yeah. I'm going to make a dictation exercise. This is number 1. Number 2, listen and write. Yeah. Number 2 is according to the law. You're going to do the same as this. Exactly. Syllabic division, you're going to mark the primary stress with a red spot or with a darker spot. You're going to draw these lines and you're going to make with the da-da-da. Yeah. Why? Because it's faster. It's faster. So number 2 is according to the law. According to the law. Number 3. He's a witness. He's a witness. He's a witness. Are you writing?
Yes, teacher.
Yeah. I'm going to write. I don't want to forget which words. Number 4. It's a legal issue. It's a legal issue. Five. As a matter of fact. As a matter of fact. 6. What's the status? What's the status? 7. Under the contract. Under the contract. 8. In my opinion. In my opinion. 9. It was an action. It was an action. 10. There is a reason. There is a reason. There is a reason. 11. This is a brief summary. This is a brief summary. 12. They will object to it. They will object to it. They will object to it. 13. For the record. For the record. 14. Based on the data. Based on the data. And 15, the last one. It's a conflict of interest. It's a conflict of interest. It's a conflict of interest. And that's it. You're going to do the same. There were 15. This is number 1 is the example. You're going to do like this one. Not yet phonemic transcription because we didn't see consonant sounds. We just saw some vowel sounds. So for that reason, not yet phonetic transcription. Instead, we're going to use this practical exercise that many phonetic teachers use, the da-da, da-da-da-da, 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 da-da-da-da. Sounds like that. Yeah, that's what's going to be. Let me take a screenshot of your who's here. Yeah. That's it for tonight. Before you say goodbye, I wanted to ask you something. Obviously, it's just a question. Tomorrow I have an emergency and I can't find someone who can take my place because there are many teachers that are from linguistics at the A5, but nobody wants to help me. And that's the problem. Tomorrow I have an emergency. I'm taking a course and I have finals presentations. So they have to tell me the time. So it's going to be in person and it's going to be, I guess that it's going to, until now I didn't receive any message of confirmation, but that's the big deal. If that's the case, I want to give solution. If I can't find someone who can take my place, would you agree to have this class on Sunday night, or you prefer to maintain the classes on Fridays? I could look for somebody who can take my place and tomorrow have classes with you. Or if you don't mind, we can have our class with me on Sunday night.
For me, there's no problem, teacher. It's okay on Sunday night, in my opinion.
Okay, I would like to know everybody's, because if you say, and I respect that, you would say, no, teacher, sorry, I have things to do on Sundays, because it would be Sunday from 7 to 10. But if you don't agree with that, I respect that, and I will find someone who can take my place. But as I told you, we have many linguists in our A5, but nobody wants to take this course, yeah, when they were asked. But I would find someone. So I want to make this in a vote, please. So raise your hand, the people who want to continue the classes in the schedule that is tomorrow. 1, 2, 3,